Hey, what's up guys, it's Chamu Misu, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to animate in Krita. Today we're going to be making this. So just a little simple hit down animation with our boy Hakai here. So let's get started. I'm going to show you guys how you animate in Krita. And it's quite interesting actually. But first, I just want to draw your attention to this mirror tool. This mirror tool is a pretty cool feature because what it lets you do essentially is just mirror whatever you're doing on the other frame. So for example, if I was to do this, it would mirror it on the other side. They also have a horizontal mirror tool, so you could put on the horizontal and vertical and do something like this. You could do something crazy. And I just really love that they have that. I think that was a really smart inclusion. Something I'd like to touch on is my knowledge with just digital software, digital animation software in general. So I started off, I think, where everyone starts off with MS Paint, which really isn't animation software. But I've used pretty much almost every software there is out there. So I've used Photoshop, I've used SAI, then I used Clip Studio Pro, then I used Flash for a little while, not really seriously. I've also used TV Paint Pro, which is what I was using not very long before I started using this program. And not that I'm an expert on these programs or anything, but in my personal opinion, from using all of those different programs, I think Krita is arguably the best one. And that's for a couple reasons. One of those reasons being it's just really easy to get the hang of compared to a lot of those other programs I mentioned. It offers you quick keys, hotkeys, unlike SAI. Actually, one of the things that really ticked me off about SAI was that you had to do everything manually. Like, you had to change your brushes manually, you had to search things manually. It didn't let you do anything, and that was really irritating. But this program, you can do everything. Has a hotkey. You can set hotkeys. The hotkeys are a bit different for this program. So if you're coming from Photoshop, on this program, B is for the brush, P is for this picker tool. I set Control T to transform because it didn't have that. It doesn't have that preset on here. Some of the hotkeys are just different, so you'll have to go in and reset those. But as far as animation in Krita, the reason I got this program is because, one, it was free. So free is awesome. So that's pretty awesome. And two, I had seen it a lot before, but I'd never actually tried it, and I was scared that if I tried it, then I was going to move on to a different program, and I'd already done that tons and tons of times. And as you guys know, I have an animated series, or if you don't know, I have an animated series, and I didn't want to keep moving my frames and my files. But I have moved to Krita, and I've moved to Krita because I've realized how freaking boss it is, and you'll see what I'm talking about in just a moment. But while I switched to Krita, one of the most irritating things about it, at least to me for my first time, was that I couldn't really get a solid grasp on how to do, not animation, because animation is pretty simple. It's almost like Flash or TV Paint. It has the same kind of animation layout, but the way you put layers on top of each other is kind of different in Krita, at least from what I've found. So I'll show you guys that in just a moment. Oh, I didn't even notice that I had the wrong thing on. Okay, so when you're animating in Krita, a little thing I can say right now, when you're animating in Krita, they have this light tool right here. All you need to do is click it and you can see the layer behind it. And it has onion skins just like, what is it, TV Paint? And I think Flash has onion skins. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. I'm not sure if you can adjust the onion skins in Flash, though. In Krita, you can adjust your onion skins. So I can make this the same. I can make this darker than the layer I have on now. I can make it really, really light. I can make it go away if I want to. So I think that's a really nice thing that they included in this free program, especially. Like I. So, what we're gonna do now is actually, we can start coloring. I'm gonna show you guys something really cool about Krita, and this is what made me say, oh yeah, this program is the best. Like, this is what really made me say I love this program. What we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our color mask tool. That's this little tool over here that looks like the brush, but has like little spikes or spiky things around it. We're gonna grab it, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna click our line art, and it's gonna turn gray. And then we're gonna go get our colors. So I'm just gonna, you guys won't be able to see this, but I'm opening up Kai's reference sheet. So here's a Kai, and I'm just gonna take his colors. What I can do with this tool, and only with this tool selected, like make sure you don't press B, because I've made that mistake before. I've pressed B and then I've tried to do something, it didn't work, it didn't register. So you click this tool. This is the color mask tool, colorize mask editing tool. And what you want to do is you just want to make like little dots or scratches on the surface. You don't even need this mirror tool on. I can take this off now. You just want to make like little dots on it. And what that'll do, since Krita is so good recognizing line art and recognizing where it ends and where it closes, what it'll do is I'll go to tool options. So this is tool options, the colors I've used, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click update, and it should fill in the entire picture with the colors that I've put in those sections. And it did. Now, it also filled up the background, and there's a reason for that, because Krita doesn't know that I don't want this to be not the same color as everything else, because I haven't specified that I want it to be a different color. So what I need to do now is I just need to go up here, pick a random color. I usually pick green, but whatever, yellow. Transparent. Click transparent. You'll see that red slash through the color, and then you go up You click update, and then it should be transparent. And it is. So there you go. And as you can see, it perfectly colored in these parts. Like, none of the color, if I zoom in, I can see that it pretty much colored it perfectly. All of the color is inside the lines, none of it's sticking out, which means if I decided to zoom in when I was in like a video editing program, I wouldn't see any pixelated colors. It looked nice and neat. They're perfectly on the lines. And then when I go down here to this colorized mask layer that it's created for me, and I just click on this little pencil looking thing over here, it'll turn to that, and this is the color I selected. So that's how easy it is to color in Krita. And let me tell you, as someone that's been through tons and tons, well, not tons and tons, but about 5 different programs, this is like really big for me, because I don't know about anyone else, but the hardest and most irritating part of animating for me when I was using other programs was absolutely color, because there was never any easy way to color and to make it look good. Now we're going to color all the frames in the head, and this is the thing that made me a bit irritated at Krita, but once you get the hang of it, it makes a lot of sense. So, as you can see what I have here, I have all these animation frames that I just did on this layer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new layer, but as you can see, I've also made a new timeline. So, this is the timeline of the head, and this is the timeline of this layer. So, what I want to do is I want to color all these layers. So, to do that, I'm just going to go through the same process I just went through with Hakai's body. I'm just going to click his head. And I'm going to go grab his colors. Oh! Alright. So, I don't need this on anymore. I'm gonna just touch all the areas that I want to be that color. I'm gonna touch any areas I think are sectioned off. So I'm just gonna scatter Hakai's colors. So that's that. This is his nose. This is a main color of his. So I'm just gonna leave those up there so I can use them later on. They won't affect anything on here because they're on their own separate timeline. So that's another thing I like about Krita. Krita creates separate timelines for everything. So turning this on won't affect any of the other things I have going on. And just to show you, if I decided to play this animation with this on, it'll be on, but if I take it off, it's not on any of the other frames. It's on this complete separate own thing, so that's really nice. Oh, by the way, it doesn't really matter what color you grab for your transparent background, as long as it is not an exact color that you have already used. So I could have grabbed a different color of black if I wanted to. It wouldn't have mattered, as long as it's not an exact color. So I'm going to click transparent, and I'm going to click update, and it's going to update it, and it's going to do that, and then I click this, then it goes like that. But yeah, so now what I have is I have this colorized mask layer right here, but I can't just make a keyframe on this layer. It won't let me. So now what I need to do is I need to duplicate this, so I'll still have the original color mask. I need to right click, go down to convert to paint layer, and what I need to do is I need to create a new a new layer, because if I try to do a keyframe on this layer, a blank keyframe on this layer, it'll do something weird. I don't know. Make a new layer. I need to right click again, create blank keyframe, and then I need to merge these two down. So I can do that by right clicking and going to merge with layer below, or I can just press Control E. So I'm just gonna press Control E. And now this is on this frame. And then what I do is I go and I look for the other frame that's not that one, and it's this one right here, and I right click again, and I click create blank keyframe. And it's just this process over and over again until I'm finished with all the layers. People that use Photoshop, also be very careful. Photoshop has a hotkey where if you press I, you click the eyedropper tool. But in Krita, I actually means reduce opacity. So as you can see, I'm clicking I, and this opacity for my brush up here is going down and down and down. So just be careful with that, because that might be what messes up your colors. If you're used to Photoshop and you're used to clicking I, that's gotten me a few times. So just wanted to warn you guys against that. Oh yeah. So when you create a blank keyframe, it'll make a keyframe from the beginning. So this is a little irritating, but you'll have to go to the beginning of your animation, which will most likely be frame 0. And you'll have to right click and you'll have to click remove keyframe. But that's pretty much all you'll have to do. For this process, you can leave all of your colors on because they shouldn't be overlapping. If they're overlapping, you probably left a color mask on, or you probably forgot to insert a blank keyframe somewhere where a new frame was. But your colors shouldn't overlap each other when you play your animation back. So as you can see, these have their individual colors. They're not overlapping. I didn't check. If I didn't know any better, I think that what I just did didn't work, even though it worked on the other ones, and I think I did something wrong. But the truth is that this colorized mask layer is still on. So since it's still on, it makes it look like the new keyframe I created didn't work. When that's not the case, I just forgot to turn this off. So remember to turn your colorized mask layers off. And there might be an easier way to do this process, I just haven't figured it out yet. This is the easiest way that I have figured to do this entire thing. So this is how I do it. Personally, I don't think there's an easier way to color in Krita. I think this is the easiest and most effective way. But I could be wrong in terms of the animation with the layers and stuff like that. This is just the easiest way I've found to do this. And this should be the last one we have. And it is. So now if we zoom out and we turn on our body. Oh, that's really weird. Okay, I guess it just glitched. I have no idea. We can see now we have a bald guy. That's something. But we can see that our animation worked. That's what it looks like. Now, if you want to animate like, if you want to do line art on Krita, what you want to do is you want to get your sketch, and then you want to click down here on this little plus sign. That'll create a new layer for you, and then you want to right click, create blank keyframe. As you can see, I have my sketch layers here of my animation for Hakai's hair. And so what I'm just gonna do is I'm just gonna animate. I'm just gonna trace my my sketches here, kinda, and I'm gonna go through the process of coloring later on, the same one I did with his body. So yeah, when I want to create a new frame, I just right click again. That's not going to be exactly how it looks, but we have an animation right there for everyone to see. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them down in the comment section below. This has been Chamu Misu. Thank you, Num Nums, for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Sayonara!